by now most everyone is aware of the Zimmerman verdict. Zimmerman was found not guilty of either manslaughter or murder too. And a lot of people are unhappy about it. A lot of people are happy about it. But a lot of people have sent me requests saying, well, what do you think about it? Because they know I've made videos about it up till now, and it's no secret. I think George Zimmerman was guilty of being criminally stupid and putting himself in a situation that led to someone dying. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for a lot of us, stupid isn't a criminal charge. So, there are a lot of things that happened that night. There are a lot of things that went wrong. This was something that happened because two people made a lot of stupid mistakes. And like I said in one of my posts, I almost thought it came down to this shouldn't be a case of whether Zimmerman was right in shooting Trayvon Martin. Should have been a case of whether Trayvon Martin was right in attacking Zimmerman. Did he have a right to attack him? Because I believe completely, and you may not agree with me, but I believe there's no question that Trayvon Martin got sick of being followed or whatever, and instead of saying, hey, why are you following me? Or finding out, he's the neighborhood watch guy, he attacked him. He physically assaulted him. I'm not saying they didn't talk first. I'm not saying he jumped out of bushes and just pummeled him. I'm saying that they probably had words with each other. Zimmerman probably said something like, do you live around here? Are you here for a reason? Blah, blah, blah. And Martin didn't like that and decided he was going to solve the problem with his fists. I mean, that's just the evidence that I see. So you'd have to say, was he justified in solving that problem with his fists, or was he not? I don't know, because there's no real witnesses to that. So that's hard to say one way or the other. But the things I did know, but judging from the case, judging from the fact that Zimmerman was on the phone with 911, all of this, just doesn't lead me to believe this was someone that had malice towards Trayvon Martin as an individual. Yes, he profiled, but profiling is not technically illegal. Police do it. It's actually a very effective tactic. So he profiled him, of course. Of course he did. I mean, I don't question that at all, but that is not the same thing as murder. That's not the same thing even as manslaughter. For me to believe manslaughter or murder, both of those kind of have an intent, or they kind of have a implication that he intended to harm him, that he had malice towards him when he harmed him, or that he knew he was doing something wrong when he made the decisions he made that led up to it. And I just don't think he did. I think for all intents and purposes, he thought he was doing the right thing. Now, he might be motivated by the wrong reasons. He might even been motivated by his own senses of inadequacy, and he might have been emboldened because he had a gun. That still doesn't mean he did the wrong thing. He did it in the wrong way, but that's a different story altogether. But in the end, one of the things you have to understand, that whether you are thinking he did something wrong, or you think he didn't do something wrong, or even if you believe that he is guilty of murder even, the prosecution did not prove their case. Anyone who watched the case can tell they did a sorry job of proving their case. So you have to sit back and say, good, I'm glad he got off, because he should have gotten off. If murder and manslaughter were the only charges that they could consider, he should have gotten off. Now, I believe he should have been charged with something. I've said he made mistakes, and he should pay for those mistakes, especially since a young child is dead now and will never be brought back. I mean, he's gone forever. So I thought he should pay for those mistakes he made. And he has. He's a ruined man now. He's a pariah. He's suffered even his own personal things. He said how he believed he felt he was going to hell because he killed someone. He's suffered. He suffered throughout this court case. He suffered for the last year. It's financially probably ruined him. And people say, oh, he'll get a book deal and he'll make $1 million. Well, who's going to touch that book? Who wants to produce that book? Same thing about Casey Anthony. She ain't made a dime off of it yet. In fact, she's filing bankruptcy. So I just don't believe any of that. So I believe he has been punished in a way, and I think he has to live with the things he did. But like I say, even though I believe he did something wrong, should be punished, those weren't the things they charged him with. They charged him with something I don't think he was guilty of. And even if you do believe he was guilty, you have to say, well, the court worked the way it's supposed to work, though, because the burden of proof of innocence is not on him. It's the burden of proof of guilt that's on the prosecution, and they didn't show that. So even if I had thought he was guilty, if I was 100% certain he hated Martin, hated black people, and was just going to kill him because he was a black kid in his neighborhood, if I thought he was the worst scumbag who did that, If the prosecution had mounted the case they mounted, I would still say, because of the sake of the system and the sake of, I would want the same thing happen to me if I was ever on the stand, he has to go free. Because they didn't prove their case. And the burden of proof is on them. He should be innocent until proven guilty. And they didn't prove that. So even though, despite, I think, like I said, he's criminally stupid, made a lot of mistakes, he cost the life of a child. He didn't do any of it with malice. He didn't do any of it with intent to the level that it's murder or manslaughter. If you wanted to slap him with an endangerment charge or negligence charge, I'd have been like, yeah, that jury should have found him guilty. But that's not what they went after. So in the end, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you feel, you have to just be happy with the fact that the system seems to have worked.